Hello, good day and welcome to Music Motors. Welcome to the 2019 Volkswagen T-Cross. Now the T-Cross is kind of Volkswagen's small crossover SUV. Everyone's kind of got one now. Volkswagen didn't want to feel left out from the party, so as a result they created what is one of the more interesting and quite quirky looking mini crossovers. This one's powered by a 1 litre TSI engine that produces 115 PS, 200 newton meters of torque, gets to 62 miles an hour in about 10.7 seconds, tops out 120, but this one in an R-Line spec, which looks great in a very bold colour, costs under £27,000. It's effectively built as you would expect a Volkswagen to be, whilst giving you the capability of, a bit more ground clearance and that city crossover look that everyone wants. If you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and if you don't, let me know what you don't like. Anyway, here's the 2019 Volkswagen T-Cross. Okay, economy test, a round town economy test. This doesn't include any back roads or 60 mile an hour kind of areas. This is literally just town driving. And I'll tell you what it is at the other end. However, on paper, this should be at least high 40s, but let's find out. So that resulted in 44.3 miles per gallon, not as high as I expected it to be, but equally the traffic was considerably more than I ever thought it would be. In traffic, it's very easy to pick up and go. It's got more than enough to nip out wherever you want. It's very comfortable. There aren't really any blind spots, and it's just a great city car. Outside is very typically Volkswagen. Now this one especially, finished in, I think it's called Tikena Turquoise Metallic 750 pound option, is bright and bold, mixing with that, typical Volkswagen design language, kind of sharp corners and nice lines as we're used to, makes the outside of this interesting, whilst not being so different to the competition that you are looking at something like an Eclipse Cross. This is like the competition, but slightly different. If you like the German look, but you don't want to look like everyone else, the T-Cross gives you that good capability. This one has 18-inch diamond cut alloy wheels and generally just gives you a bit of that crossover with a bit more SUV-esque look all round. Outside it is an extraordinarily good looking car, and now let's get to the finer details. At the front, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between a lot of the Volkswagen range. They have a design language which kind of flows throughout all the models. As a result, this could very easily be a T-Roc, a Tiguan, a Touareg, or as it is here, a T-Cross. But it's a good looking design. It flows and works nicely. The front end is bold and stylish without being too out there. The side of it, well, nice long lines, little intricate pieces like little cut-ins to just make it a little bit different to the competition, where a lot of manufacturers just have long lines. Volkswagen are saying, hey, let's put some cuts into the side, let's make it a bit more interesting. The back end looks great. Now the one thing that I have is when you look at this, you're also going to be potentially looking at an XC40. Now the XC40 back end's re-planned, and on this it isn't. While it is a little bit upright, it equally has great proportions. It looks really nice. At the front the light clusters work, at the side the lines are sweeping, and at the back the light clusters work as well. I suppose you can say in general the outside looks really good. It is absolutely swelteringly hot outside, and it might be a little bit noisy because we've got the aircon on full. It's time for a gig test. Now my equipment's in. I'll show you the equipment situation at the other end because I've got a bit of a rush to make sure that I beat the traffic. But generally, really, this is going to showcase what the combined fuel economy is, because it's a mix of motorways and back roads and most likely traffic, with economy being hit by the fact that this is a small 1 litre petrol engine with air conditioning pumping on full constantly. So it's step one, and I'll see you at the other side. In a medium cycle like that, Volkswagen reckon that you should realistically get about 47, and what I achieved was 49. If I hadn't hit that traffic, it would easily have soared above 50, because at points when I reset on the motorway yesterday, I saw 70 miles per gallon on the motorway. I mean, that was in a 50 section, but the engine has more than enough torque in the low end, so it deals with motorway so much better than I ever considered a 1 litre could. Now I've got to wait for everyone else to turn up and then get the load in, and then we can see a bit of what's going on today, but also you can see the return journey and what the combined fuel economy is, because on the way back the fuel economy should be better. After a somewhat successful gig, is now onto the final part of it, and at the end I'll tell you what the combined fuel economy was in an everyday life cycle, for me anyway. So at the end of this gigging day, the combined was actually 51.7 miles per gallon, which is over a couple of hundred miles, so it's quite impressive. The one thing I noticed is that on the motorway, it doesn't feel like a 1 litre at all. It gets up and goes as it needs to, but equally then gives you the fuel economy of driving a 1 litre. Not that traditionally I would then think that a 1 litre wouldn't give me fuel economy, but this really does. Around town it's comfortable, being stuck in traffic it's easy, there's more than enough technology to play around with, and the beat sound system on a run, you couldn't ask for more. Moving from that bold turquoise exterior, you get to a less bold interior, in fact the complete opposite. While Volkswagen do some nicer, more shouty interiors, this is one of the more subdued ones, but it's nice. It gives you loads of practicality, loads of spacious door bins, loads of places to put stuff, lots of headroom, lots of legroom, front or back, and it gives you a nice, quiet and comfortable ride. However, what it isn't is sporty. Even as an R-Line, even though the seats say R-Line on them, there's nothing too shouty about it, but the seats themselves hold you extraordinarily well. They're very comfortable, whilst these ones aren't heated. Well, they're cloth, it doesn't really matter. When you've got leather, that's when you want to be making them heated. Your passenger amenity from the front end point of view, great. This one's got the Beat sound pack, so great sound system. Everything's within reach. From a driver's point of view, you've got that nice, I think it's a 10.8 inch screen in front of you, fully adaptive but very easy to use and very intuitive, gives you all the information you could possibly want. The infotainment system is, as per usual with Volkswagen, absolutely top notch and is among probably one of the best ones in the entire automotive segment. Your rear seat passengers are comfortable, they do have good legroom and they do have good headroom. While not, class leading, is more than comfortable enough for everything you'd want, with ISOFIX all around. When it comes to your boot, it's a reasonable size, not much bigger than a Polo though. So when it does come to fitting in the wider things, you aren't going to have much luck. They do have to go on the back seats. So things like big prams that don't fold away completely, they're not going in the back itself. You do have to consider that, but for the most part, for a vehicle of this size, the interior cabin space is great. And the main thing to note is that on a run, it's very, very, very comfortable and quiet. And around town, visibility is very good, and you don't feel unsafe. This is an extraordinarily safe car to be driving around in. Side note, Beat sound system, a good way to spend some money. But not so ultimately good that you're gonna, unless you're a bit of a music nerd, you're not really gonna notice too much of a difference except loudness between the standard one and the Beat sound system. Performance wise, 115 PS, 200 Newton meters of torque, 10.7 to 62 and a top end of 120 miles an hour. Now, whilst not being an absolute rocket, when you consider the size of the vehicle being powered by a 1 litre petrol engine, it's quite impressive. And I mean, there's no beating around the bush. A few years ago, a 1 litre engine wouldn't have been able to move something this size of this weight just as well as this currently does. And from a performance point of view on back roads, the steering's quite good. You do feel a bit of body roll. The throttle's quite responsive. The DSG box is very, very good, as it is on all Volkswagen models.
And the pedal feel isn't disconnected. In fact, this is quite a connected drive. I would say it's more connected of a drive than a Golf R. Just putting that out there. So really then, from a performance point of view, whilst this isn't an absolute rocket ship, it does exactly what you need it to do. It gives you more than enough power for around town or on the motorway. And when I'm speaking of the motorway, let's now get to economy. Now, Volkswagen claim that you should see realistically worst case scenario 35 to 38 and best case scenario 52 to 55. Now, if you're really lucky, you will see considerably above that 55. Realistically, you'll see 53 combined if you do motorway driving. Realistically, around town, right now, all I've done is around town. I've sat in a lot of traffic and kind of been start, stop, up to 13, stop, up to 13, stop, including idle time before I started filming, and that's 37.8 miles per gallon. That is mental figures for such a small engine. Now, on the motorway, this doesn't feel sluggish, and it does have more than enough get up and go, but your economy isn't affected by putting your foot down much. The 1 litre engine just gives the economy that you can't even believe is possible out of a small engine in a vehicle this size. Yeah, we've had economy of that nature when it's come to like 2 litre diesels before in vehicles of this size, but never a 1 litre petrol. And it really does constantly turn around good figures. Right now I'm already going up. I'm up to almost 38 miles per gallon now. And it would go up and up and up. If you just sat at 30 miles an hour, it would be mental. And as a side note, I reset on the motorway. For a solid 20 minutes, I was getting 75 miles per gallon out of this. 75 miles per gallon. It is actually obscenely good. The engine doesn't sound too bad either. So really, as a summary, under £27,000, bundled with technology, good looks and good build quality, good driving characteristics and good economy. Really, you wouldn't need anything else. If you want more power, well then you're probably not going to look at one of these, because really all you can get is a 1 litre petrol engine. But for everyday life, this does it exceptionally well. It really is an exceptional go everywhere, do anything type of car, which I think Volkswagen have just absolutely nailed. So in summary, the 2019 Volkswagen T-Cross is exceptionally good. Exceptionally good.